Welcome back to HQ. We're just over 2 weeks away from the NFL trade deadline, and our NFL insider Jonathan Jones is reporting one team executive told him, quote, seems like there could be a decent bit of action this deadline. We'll see just how much once November 4th rolls around. Time now for this segment presented by Fresh Pet Healthy Food, fresh from the fridge. Back here with Douzable and Ran Carthon, I'm Tommy Tran. Ran, you're the perfect guy to talk to here. Before we get into the actual moves that we project here, just in general, front office perspective, again, about 2 weeks away, a little over that. Is there real action, or does it get much more exciting once the deadline rolls around?
No, people are talking. There are going to be a lot of conversations. Now, this is what I call the being nosy phase, where you're calling around just to see who's available.
Correct.
You're having your scouts call their contacts in the organization to see who's available. But the conversations will heat up, because typically it starts with your scouts. Hey, Tommy, call your contact over in Green Bay and see who they're willing to move. And then if the interest becomes strong, then now the two GMs get on the phone, and then the conversation starts to pick up in terms of the compensation. And then those are conversations to be had with ownership and the head coach as well. So it's getting to that point now. Things will definitely get heated over the weekend, because you're going to have those conversations of like, hey, let's lock this deal in, let's get through this week. But now it extends like, do you even allow that player to play?
Yeah.
Or if you're on the team that's going to be trading for Douzable, you're watching like every time he hits the ground, hey, get up.
Yeah, I hope you're good. I hope you're good.
He's good. He's good. This still is going to go through. Because, again, all trades are fully executed once that player passes the physical, and so they need to be healthy.
All right, let's get to a handful of trades that should happen. Interestingly enough, you guys both have targeted the San Francisco 49ers, who have been decimated by injuries, to go get some help. Ran, why don't you start us off here?
So I'm going with a familiar face, familiar name, and a player who really revived his career in San Francisco with the 49ers under Chris Cassari, and that's Arden Key. Arden Key has been out the last couple of weeks with a quad injury that I believe will get significantly better if he's gone to the San Francisco 49ers. But I think he is such a good fit there, because he has outside-inside pass rush versatility to now mix with a Bryce Huff and a Mykel Williams, and to pair with a Kalia Davis and Kevin Givens inside. I think them knowing Arden so well will be a great addition for that D-line.
Yeah, I'm attacking the 49ers as well, with a guy that's not familiar from being out there, but scheme-wise he's familiar. Quincy Williams, the Jets linebacker, played for Robert Saleh for 3 straight years. He was an all-pro with Robert Saleh. He knows the scheme. Yes, we saw Fred Warner go out. D. Winters and Tatum Bethune are the guys that have had to step up. Why not bring in a guy that was a all-pro that knows the scheme? You talked about it, Tommy. They've been decimated with injuries. He's a guy that can only help with energy and in the run game, but he's one of the better pass-covering linebackers in all of football. So I think it makes a lot of sense. And just to your point, right, Arden Key's coming off the quad. Quincy has an injury, and he'll be, I believe, cleared off IR next week. And I'm sure he'll be 100% healthy if he's able to get traded to a scheme he's very familiar with.
All right, so we've seen the Jets get off to an extremely slow start, still trying to find that win, Ran, so potentially unloading time there for the Jets. So you have one of their key pieces moving to Houston.
Yeah, and we talked about it on the morning show, and why it makes sense and also why it does not make sense. But I'm going with Breece Hall to the Texans. And I say that because the Texans need a back in the backfield, right? They've been really quiet on Joe Mixon and what the severity of that injury is, which leads me to believe we won't see him. Woody Marks has done a serviceable job, but we all know that he's not going to be the focal point of that run game. Nick Chubb isn't the same, and I don't understand why, or, because I'm not in their building, as to why Damian Pierce never gets a shot, because whenever he plays, he's been productive. But having a young runner who is explosive, like Breece Hall is, on a rookie deal, might I add, will be lights out for this offense and add another explosive nature to it.
And to me, Rand, this just wouldn't be a for the end of this year deal, even though he's on the expired.
For the future.
It would be for a future, because he is such a young back. And to your point, Nick Caserio's been real quiet when it comes to Joe Mixon's deal. Like, we'll see where the injury is the next couple of weeks as we go on. we haven't even seen Joe Mixon, not even in training camp. There hasn't even been like an actual picture of Joe Mixon out there on the practice field. So I'm a little bit concerned with that injury and where it's going to happen, for the future for the Houston Texans. I think Breece Hall, with his explosive ability, not just running the football, but catching the ball out of the backfield, sometimes as a quarterback, you just need an outlet, and Breece Hall can be that outlet for you. Thinks that it makes a lot of sense, not just for this year, Tommy, but for the future as well.
But real quick, because we both talked about this, if the Jets are so married to him, why haven't they extended him?
Correct.
And to this point, for me, it just seems like, are you going to extend him? Question mark.
Right.
And if you're not, then I think they're just holding out for the right offer to get that right number in terms of draft compensation.
And maybe Houston would be willing to pay, because you guys talk about Mixon, Chubb, Marks. It hasn't worked out for an offensive unit, again, that we talked about from the Monday night preview that could use a nice running game, an outlet for C.J. Stroud, and potentially that could happen. Tyreek Woolen there, moving for you, Lige Douzable. Where to and why?
Yeah, everybody says I'm a Bills hater, but I'm going to give him some help right here. Tyreek Woolen to the Buffalo Bills. I think it makes a lot of sense. He's one of the better zone cover corners. He's really struggled the last couple of years to be consistent. Remember, he had that breakout rookie season. They've struggled at the cornerback position opposite of Christian Benford, right? Tre'Davious White has struggled. Everybody keeps saying Maxwell Harrison is coming back. Ran, we haven't seen this kid play yet, so we don't know what he's going to be on the field in an NFL game. You know what Tyreek Woolen is, and Pete always talks about they don't have enough speed. That guy has a lot of speed. So I think in zone coverage, which Sean McDermott likes to play more of, now he switched to a little bit more man and started bringing some pressure because they struggled to consistently get to the quarterback. I think sometimes a new place, a new change of scenery could really help Tyreek Woolen. Having him going to the Buffalo Bills helps that secondary.
And I just look at it from a pure size perspective, a size length perspective, to be able to smother those bigger corners in that division and in the AFC that they're going to have to face in the playoffs and down the stretch. And you have a guy that has bona fide ball skills.
Correct.
That's going to be able to create those turnovers for you. So it would be a good move.
What do you guys think about the Cowboys? If they had some interest in Reek, do you think the Snyder and company would be willing
That's
to unload?
originally where I wanted him to go, but I don't think because they're competing against the Cowboys right now when it comes to like playoff seedings that they would make that trade in the NFC.
So they were hoping you're Andrew Berry to make that play, because Andrew Berry
Pretty
would make
much.
that
He wouldn't
within the
have cared.
division, let alone the conference.
He would have did it.
Rand, final thought, what do you think? Cowboys, would that be an issue, option there?
Well, he'll be a really good fit for the defense just in terms of schematically and his skill set. However, I just think with the amount of money that they've paid that position already and Tyreek Woolen looking for to get a new deal,
Correct.
It just doesn't make sense because they have much bigger holes and much bigger needs just in terms of that Dallas defense to get it done.
Okay, last but not least, curious to get your guys' thought on a potential David Njoku movement, Lige. I'll start with you in terms of the Cleveland Brown tight end potentially moving.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like Andrew Berry's willing to make a deal with anybody right now. But to me, if Dylan Gabriel is not going to be a guy, or if he is, why would you give away one of your better offensive pieces for the future? Now, again, if somebody comes with the right price, then yes. And I kind of like try to look at all the rosters. Most of the teams that are contending have good tight ends already, so who's going to be willing to come out of draft capital and give up draft capital for a tight end if they already got a good one on roster?
Yeah, I mean, and you talk about it. We were discussing the amount of teams that have tight ends. I mean, you look at the Pittsburgh Steelers; they have 4. Correct. They have. I mean, not only do you have 4 guys that can play, you're carrying 4 on your roster. Most teams will have 2, maybe 3, and 1 on the practice squad, but they have 4 on their active roster. The tight end position has become such a big part of this league, just in terms of being able to create mismatches. And we talked about that with Brock Bowers before, being able to move him around and all over the place. So there may not be a potential landing spot for him at this point, and it's just something that he's going to have to ride out in Cleveland, and then we'll see where that takes him at the end of the year.
He had a really good season a couple years ago and basically won a lot of people their fantasy leagues. And we have Carolina here. If they start getting hot because they've accumulated some wins, Jatavian Sanders, Tommy Tremble, would a Njoku addition to Carolina help them, give them enough to get them over the hump?
I mean, he elevates the position, but they have so many young playmakers on the outside. I don't know if it makes sense. You talked about Jatavian Sanders. He just came back from injury, so they're trying to get him implemented into the offense as well. You still got Tet there, obviously Xavier Legette, and Jalen Coker just came back as well. So we were talking about this with the Detroit Lions. I mean, who would have ever said this with the Carolina Panthers? There's only one football to go around, plus those 2 running backs they have in the backfield. So it makes some sense, but I don't think it makes a lot of sense for him to go to Carolina.
I mean, I definitely can see the fit and how it would make sense, and he brings a leader to a young football team, a guy that his teammates respect. And it also doesn't hurt that the GM went to the University of Miami as well.
Yes,
so it could be some you to you love between Dan Morgan and David Njoku. But like we just talked about, just right now, is just not a true fit for him. Because again, we like where Carolina's headed, but they still have a lot ahead of them before they sneak into this
They're
playoff
not a
picture.
piece away.
Yeah,
But they are trending in the right direction.
Correct.
All right, guys, certainly appreciate it. 5 trades that need to happen before the deadline, just over a couple of weeks away. A reminder about the NFL Today Plus pregame show streaming every Sunday at 10 a.m. Eastern, CBS Sports HQ, streaming on Paramount Plus, and also live on YouTube.